again, it's Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Talking sprint car racing. We are so glad you joined us. Our favorite time of the week. We're in the Hercules Tires studios in Concord, North Carolina. Ashley Stremme and Steve Post. We're going to talk to Brent Marks on the show today. One of our favorite guys.
Yeah, he's just a good old soul.
Yes, he is. He is a good guy, and so we're going to talk to him. But Ashley, before we get to that, the exclamation point was last week at Wayne County. But Sheldon Haudenschild is really putting together a strong season.
He sure is, especially here lately. You know, these wins are ticking off. And, you know, I've talked to them at Dodge City. I talked to both him, Sheldon, and Zan, and they're really in love with the fact that Ripper's back, and it is showing significantly. Yeah, no doubt about it. And we've talked over the course of this program and our digital show on wingnation.com. We've talked to Ricky. We've talked to everybody involved, and they're all on the same camp. You know, what has remained the same? Solid ownership. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Richard and Jennifer Marshall. What has also remained is solid partnership, sponsorship with NOS Energy, and they've got some other ones. But what's changed? Okay, you mentioned it, Kyle Ripper, the crew chief coming over, that is huge. And so that is big. Crew members, Nicholas and Drew. Of course, we got Drew on one of our podcasts because he's the guy that's in the work area. But here's, to me, the biggest change. And I know that it takes a team and it takes everybody to do this. But to me, Sheldon is the biggest change. More consistency, fewer missteps. Last year, 72 races, 21 top fives. This year, we know it's limited. 45 races, he has more top fives, 22 top fives. He was top fives 30% of the time last year. He is nearly 50% of the time. You do that, you're not only going to win a bunch more races, which he has, you're going to be a championship contender. Absolutely. Confidence is key. I don't care if it's through your crew chief, your race car. When you have that confidence about yourself and you have that aura, you know that you can put that race car anywhere it belongs on that racetrack, and that builds so much when it comes to the win column.
Got to admit, watching that race at Wayne County, he's out there leading it, and you're waiting it to stuff it in the fence or to get sideways or to do something. Old Sheldon, 2 years ago, Sheldon could have done that sometimes. He didn't do it. He no longer does any of that. He has become so good, so consistent, and those missteps, we don't see them anymore.
He's growing.
Yes,
He's
is.
growing as
Absolutely.
a driver. That seat time is
natural.
significant.
It's normal, it's natural, and it's great to see. And he is going to be a rock star for many, many years to come. So kudos to everyone there on the race team and Sheldon for doing such a great job. Speaking of a great job, the IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints, they wrapped up their season up at Dodge County, and then they were in Plymouth at the dirt track this past weekend. And I'll tell you what, Bill Baylog had a phenomenal season again, picked up the win and the championship. This was on Flow Racing. One of the great announcers. I love this guy. He does IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints. Here's Ray Underwood.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
And now Bill Baylog is within striking distance. The nightmare is starting to cast the dark clouds on the 64. Slide job in front of Scotty Thiel, and Baylog takes over the lead with 8 to go.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Death, the official DEF of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
Passion. Performance. We are Team Dryden.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. We are going to the Hercules Tires hotline. Joining us from the great state of Pennsylvania, the Myerstown Missile. Oh, I love nicknames. Brent Marks joins us. Hello, Brent. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
I appreciate you guys having me. It's been a little while, but happy to be back on.
It is great to have you back on, that is for sure. Great to chat with you, Brent. This season, and of course this season we qualify everything by saying COVID has made this season weird. You were going to have a weird and different season anyhow, but I almost tend to think this thing played kind of into your hands a little bit. But how would you assess, you know, you're coming off the Outlaw Tour, you're with a Pennsylvania-based team, you're going to travel, then you stay home. How would you assess what this season has been for you?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it has been weird, but you know, we're I think the season has gone great. We've been really fast and started off a little slow, but got things situated and I got more comfortable behind the wheel. And we seem to always find ourselves racing for a win every week, and it's been a lot of fun. But it was definitely weird coming off the tour and kind of doing the schedule that we ended up doing. But I've been enjoying my time at home and been getting some house projects done and so on and so forth. So it's been pretty good, and looking forward to what the future holds here with this team.
Brent, you talk about coming off the road with the tour. Obviously, you had three solid years with the World of Outlaws, and it's kind of what you dreamed about. I remember when we talked to you after a win, this is what you really had dreamed about doing, is being with the World of Outlaws. Obviously, joining up with CJB and Barry Jackson. Was it a hard decision to come off the tour and do this different schedule this year?
It wasn't a hard decision to join CJB. It's something I've been working towards pretty hard for a long time, is to be a driver for a good professional sprint car team, and they're one of the top tier teams in the country, and I had that opportunity and I didn't want to pass it up, and it has always been a dream of mine to be on the World of Outlaws tour, and I accomplished that and spent 3 good years on the tour, and hopefully more in my future, but it's just something I wanted to do and needed to do, and it's been great being with this race team. And our schedule, the way we were supposed to race this year, we were going to be at a lot of outlaw shows, probably 85% of the shows, I'd say, and a lot of all-star races as well. So I wasn't really going to be away from the series that much, but then when COVID hit, it just kind of reshaped our whole schedule. Because Pennsylvania was racing during that time for the most part, and a lot of big races kind of got developed, and we ended up in some points battles, and just kind of had to make some decisions as a race team there to what to pursue and what not to pursue. It's just it's just weird how this year worked out for us, but it's been great though. So I know next year we're talking about doing the same type of schedule that we were supposed to do this year. So I'm just I'm excited to be able to race around the country a lot more, and it's been fun being back home. And I've missed a lot of my daughter's younger years of growing up. She's 4 now, so she starts recognizing a little bit more when I'm leaving and so on and so forth. So I just kind of be nice being home and getting some house projects done that has been neglected, and as much as it's been a weird year, it's been a good year for me too. So, I'm pretty happy.
Boy, I'll tell you what, in 2020, if it's been a good year at the end of the day, I think you're doing all right. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Brent, one of the things that I respected and always watched you is you took a family team from Pennsylvania onto the road, and you were the driver, you were the guy in front of it, but you were also the owner of that race team. This has got to be so drastically different for you, not being the owner, the guy responsible for all the bills and all of that element of a race team. How different is that?
Yeah, it's really different, and it took some time to get used to. But to be honest, there's a ton more pressure off my shoulders. I can kind of focus on just driving now and performing the best I can, and I feel like I've performed better this season, and it's just I just see things changing within me, and it's been good. But what we were able to accomplish with our own team was pretty special, and a lot of hard work went into that. But a lot of distraction as well. You're trying to be a team owner and a race car driver, and just all the pieces together. It's just it's really hard, and there's only so much time in a day and in a week, and you just really can't concentrate on what you need to concentrate on. So I'm pretty fortunate to be in a position I am now to kind of refocus everything and just be the best driver I can be. And I just feel like I've become better this year, and and Barry Jackson has helped me with that, and the whole race team has been great. So I just it took me a little while to get things going this year, but once we kind of got into the June area, things really started clicking, and we're contending for wins almost every single night, and top 3s, top 5, I think, Sunday at Feelings Grove National Open, that was the first time out of the top 5 in the last 5 to 7 races or something like that. And that was just because we blew a tire. We were running inside the top 5 at looked like 3 to go or something. But it's been a good year. It's been a learning curve, but it's been fun too. So I'm very blessed to be where I'm at.
For sure. Hey, we need to step away. Stay with us. More with Brent Marks in just a moment.
Hey Ashley, what are you up to?
Oh, I just stopped by to grab some sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
You can never go wrong with a Honey Crisp. They're light, crisp, and full of perfectly balanced flavor.
Oh, hey!
You could always go with one of their classics, the Gala or Fuji. They're both sweet and juicy.
Grown in the heart of Eastern Washington, Sage Fruit Company works hard on the farm and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears to consumers all year long.
Well, I couldn't decide which ones. Thanks for the help, guys.
I'll race you to checkout.
Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit, rolling along. We're in the Hercules Tires studios in Concord, North Carolina, and joining us on the Hercules Tire hotline is Brent Marks. All right, Brent, now we've talked a lot about racing, but a couple times you have mentioned some home projects. Okay, what has been your favorite home project that Megan's had you work on? Because this honeydew list sat there for 3 years while you're on the World of Outlaws. What has been your favorite project, and has there been a project that's been a nightmare of yours?
I mean, the whole thing's kind of been a nightmare, to be honest with you. But when we bought our house, it was an older couple that lived here, and our taste is just different. So I just wanted to try to make it a little bit more homier for us. And my biggest project so far has been redoing the living room and moving on to the kitchen and just redo our bathrooms and just things like that. Just trying to make everything a little bit better for us. And someday I'd like to finish my basement, give us a little bit more room in the house because we just have a rancher. So I've been staying pretty busy. I was on a roll there for the longest time, and then we got really busy racing and a bunch of midweek shows. And so the last month I've been kind of been slacking a little bit. So then now that we have a week off until we race the National Open and then another week until Port Royal, I'll be able to catch up on stuff. So, but no, it's been fun though. It's been keeping me busy and just something different too. I'm learning new stuff and how to do certain things that I never really got a chance to do in the past. So, but it's been good.
Well, I guess if this racing thing doesn't end up going the direction you want, you can be the next handyman in town.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure if I'm that into it.
I love it. Brent, you mentioned your daughter, McKenna. Yeah. I know that you said that you missed the first few years, but it looks like you guys have been catching up just quickly and well enough. I love it. The video that y'all posted of y'all's special handshake is so cool, so awesome. And I know that she knows what you do. What does it mean to have her support, I guess, basically, even though she is only 4 years old, to know that Dad races sprint cars and I want to watch before I go to bed?
Yeah, it means a lot to me. And I know when she gets older, it'll probably mean a lot to her too, but I'm sure it does now. But no, it's just, I don't know. Racing's always been a family thing for me. It kept me and my parents close. Kept me out of trouble when I was younger. And I feel like, me and her and my wife, Megan, have that same type of bond with racing now too. So it's cool to see what I had with my parents and what I'm kind of getting now with my daughter. So it's pretty special to me. So very thankful for that.
Okay, so the handshake, did you practice and come up with it, or is it kind of a freestyle that you two do when you're sitting in the race car?
I don't know. It's weird. I mean, we even do it before bedtime. She's just she just likes it. I told her how to do a high five and then knuckles, and then and then we started doing. Then she wanted to do high five and knuckles at the same time, so we started doing that. And then I taught her how to do thumbs up, but when we do thumbs up, she has to touch thumbs. So then next thing you know, all three things just kind of came together, and I don't know, it's just our thing. It's pretty cool though.
That's so awesome.
It's just something that we have together.
It's not pretty cool, Brent. It's really cool.
Really
it's
is.
awesome. It really is.
Yeah.
Now, Brent, when she's at the track, is she scraping mud with you in the pits, or is she with Mom slinging T-shirts?
She's usually with Mom. She's not quite into the whole slinging mud thing yet. Hopefully one day, but no, she's with Mom. She's pretty shy right now, and she's gotten herself pretty accustomed to the team, which is good. But when she's around other people, she's just pretty shy. So we've been working on that with her a little bit. So it's just I don't know. Some days are good at the races, and some days, if I hear a kid screaming, it's most likely mine. So.
Oh, that is fantastic. Yeah. That is really, really cool. Yeah.
Brent, real quick, I thought it was really cool that you went out earlier this year and you did some donations to the York Hospital and kind of really gave back to the community with your sponsor. Talk about what that was like.
That was really cool. They were really appreciative of that. I got together with Ron Rutherford from Mama's Pizza there, and he was doing a lot of work at the time with donations, and I wanted to do something. I just didn't quite know where to go and who to contact, and so he was my resource there to help me out with that. And we have Alkaline 88 Water as one of our sponsors, and I felt like that was a great opportunity to help everybody that's in need, and as well as promote their product, because they're just kind of starting to get in our area here, and I just felt like it was a good thing to do, and really proud that we were able to make it happen. So we went to York Hospital and donated a bunch of water, and then Ron threw in some pizzas, and made them really happy. So we appreciate everything that they were doing, being on the front line during the whole COVID deal, and it's just we wanted to show our appreciation.
It's the little things at times. It's a handshake with your daughter and pizza at the hospital. Sometimes, man, you just don't even. I seriously, it is. We get all wrapped up in the big stuff, but I'm telling you, that deal you do with your daughter, and I'll bet you those who received the pizza, that was the best pizza on the planet. So congrats to you on that, Brent, and congrats on everything as far as the racing program goes. Man, I'll tell you, we're having a ball watching you race this year, and wish you continued success as the season unfolds.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
There we go. Brent Marks joining us here on Wing Nation. Stay with us. Our Tweet Your Seat Tweets of the Week are coming up next.
Power isn't born. It's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain. And we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Welcome back. You're watching Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. It is time to Tweet Your Seat Tweets of the Week. And we're kicking it off with Wayne County Speedway. The tweets come from Sherry, Ken, and Dan. It was the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, your winner. We talked about him earlier, Sheldon Haudenschild. He is the hometown hero. The one tweet that Zan put out of them chanting Sheldon was super awesome. His 6th win of the season. He was followed by Shane Stewart and Brad Sweet.
Then they moved the World of Outlaws I'm talking about to Lernerville Speedway. This from Mark from Knucklehead and from Loud Pedal Productions. The Commonwealth class for the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Well, Sheldon looked really, 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 really good until 2 laps to go when that right rear tire looked really, really, really bad. And David Gravel picked up his 5th win of the season. David had not won since the Friday of Knoxville, so it'd been a little bit of a down spell for him, but he did a nice job. Gravel, James McFadden, and Garen Pittman in that 72 car with a 3rd place run.
These tweets come from Jeff and Sarah. It is the Dodge County Fairgrounds. It was the IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints. We talked about him earlier as well. It was Bill Baylog, and he was followed by Jordan Goldsberry and Jake Blackers.
Then they moved to Sheboygan. Well, the Sheboygan County Fairgrounds, the Plymouth Dirt Track. Tweets from Lauren, from Sarah, from Spencer. It was the Wisconsin Sprint Car Championships, IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints. Baylog did it again, his 12th win of the season in 20 races, clinched his 10th IRA championship. Jake Blackhurst, Mike Remke followed him across the line. In the MSA sprints, the 360s, it was Will Garrett's, that is, with the win.
Now we go to Williams Grove Speedway. I'll be there tonight. Stop by and say hello. These tweets come from KSL and DMC. It was the World of Outlaws tune-up race for the nationals this weekend, and it was Freddie Raymer, his third win of the season, and he was followed by Anthony Macri and Brent Marks.
Then the Pennsylvania posse moved north up to Selinsgrove. These tweets from Kenny, from Rich, from Joe, Bob, Derek, Awesome, and Nathan. It was the 38th annual Jim Nace Memorial National Open, and Anthony Macri, a $20,000 prize, his 10th overall win of the season, second at Selinsgrove. He was strong. He set a new track record, started on the pole, led the race. Other than the first and second turns, he led the rest of the race. He was followed across the line by Freddie Raymer and Dylan Cisney with another podium finish in a big race up there.
Fremont Speedway, these tweets come from Becky, Stephanie, and Sabrina. It was the Fast Series. Your winner was Zeb Wise, 17 years old, his career first Fremont win. Always good to get those first ones.
Yep, absolutely.
Craig Mintz and Travis Philo finished out the podium.
Over to Michael's Mercer Speedway in Western Pennsylvania. It was Fall Brawl Friday, and Mark sends this tweet along. Adam Kekich. They've had 4 410 races this year, and he has won 3 of them. Jeremy Cornbow and Danny Kuringer, I guess it is, were the top 5.
The place your mama warned you about. It is Cherokee Speedway. Tweets come from Doug and yourself, Steve. Your USCS Sprint Cars, your winner was Kyle Amerson from Montgomery, Alabama, and he was finished by Justin Barger and Lance Moss.
Mentioned Lance Moss, his dad, Chris Moss, an
Diddy.
engine builder. Diddy, yes, his Diddy, yes, because that's he swept the top 5 with his engines. And finally, my friend Lauren Kelly. Lauren owns Midwest Autosports. I met him up at Wilmot, and he is PR for Sean Rahal, Sage Fruit Rookie of the Year competitor for the IRA Bumper to Bumper Sprints. Look at this. Yes, Plymouth Dirt Track in Sheboygan, and there he goes on his knees, and Amy said yes.
Oh, good.
So, congratulations to Lauren Kelly with a racetrack proposal. How about that?
They always make me so nervous.
Oh, gosh, just waiting, that's for sure. Hey, have you ever heard of the 410 or FPS 410 Sprint Car engine? Well, if you haven't, you will. It's the result of a collaboration between Ford Performance, Tony Stewart Racing, and Durham Racing Engine.
Tony Stewart used it in his team's sprint car for the first time in mid-August last year, and 2 weeks later, TRS scored its first 410-equipped victory with the legendary Donnie Schatz behind the wheel.
So what is the FPS 410's future, you ask? The goal is an engine that can challenge for victories in series across the country as part of a Ford Performance customer program. Now that sounds like a winner. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment.
Hey Ashley, what are you up to?
Oh, I just stopped by to grab some sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
You can never go wrong with a Honeycrisp. They're light, crisp, and full of perfectly balanced flavor.
Oh, hey!
You could always go with one of their classics, the Gala or Fuji. They're both sweet and juicy.
Grown in the heart of Eastern Washington, Sage Fruit Company works hard on the farm and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears to consumers all year long.
Well, I couldn't decide which ones. Thanks for the help, guys.
I'll race you to checkout.
There are people who say things aren't made here anymore. Those people should make a trip to Michigan, or Kentucky, or Illinois, where you'll find our workers, and dealers, and engineers, and technicians building for America. We're proud to employ more hourly workers than any other automaker in this country, because we build for this country.
Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit here. We're so glad you've joined us. Love chatting with you each and every week, and love chatting with Brent Marks. Man, what a stand-up guy.
He really is.
Good citizen of planet Earth and a good race car driver.
It's true.
Boy, do you see him when they roll into Eldora. Woohoo, man.
He loves that place.
Oh, God. I'd love it, too, if I had that much skill there.
Right?
Oh, my gosh, that's fantastic. Well, Pennsylvania's the hotspot. You mentioned it. The National Open, the World of Outlaws.
Yes.
And then they stay right there because next week it's the Nittany Showdown up at the Speed Palace. So
It's a good 2 weekends to be in Pennsylvania, although I think I'm only going to be there for one.
Okay, well, it's one better than I am.
One better than none. There you go.
That's right, exactly. So nothing better than the World of Outlaws. And they all have point battles going on, well, except for Port. Port's got theirs solved. But Williams Grove has a point battle going on, the World of Outlaws, and this can shuffle everything up.
Sure can. With Sheldon, who knows?
Yes, absolutely.
Going
to be fun.
Right in there.
That is for sure. Hey, we appreciate you spending some time. Thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.